Welcome to Painting with Harvey. This week, I decided on doing something a little different. Last week, I pulled out this crazy idea, and I was like, oh, mountains in the back and trees and stuff didn't come out well. So I've been thinking, how can I do trees better? So this week, we're going to work on that. I have this idea for like this aurora looking thing. I'm going to have like a little river right here and big old mountains and just aurora over the whole thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to coat the entire thing in just a whole bunch of random colors. Being that I have a black canvas, it'll make it really, really easy for it to thin out. I don't want it to be super thick, so let's go ahead and just pick up a whole bunch of random colors, and I'm going to go up and down. Actually, yeah, I'm going to go up and down here, so let's just add just a whole bunch of colors, just whatever. I just pick in there. I got a big old box of colors I drag around. Just add this blue color. And I'm not putting a lot because I want it to be real thin. The reason why I want it to be thin is, you have the aurora borealis. I'm going to do the aurora australis, which is the South Pole has an aurora as well. And it's got much more vivid and intense colors as compared to the aurora borealis. And the aurora borealis has, the blues and reds. It's, all the colors of the rainbow, of course. But what the aurora borealis is, it's very safe. You can go to Alaska, you can go to wherever, and it's very pretty. And yeah, it's like -30, it's still cold. But down on the South Pole, it can get a negative like 90 or 100. And that's one of my dream things to go see. It's on my bucket list. Well, whenever I was thinking about how to do these trees, I'm also going to try to play around with mountains. Usually, I make a horizon line. It's like usually right here. I usually do 2 horizon lines. Well, I was thinking about it, and I was like, mountains don't look like that, right? There's no way mountains are just a flat line in the distance. Mountains have different diffuse kind of styles and looks and edges and depths, and, your depth perception is not going to be flat all the time. If you're in a place where mountains are huge, the Salt Lake area or Alaska, it's going to be a much more defined thing. It's going to be very, very identifiable. Let's do these last colors as green on the edge. I'm going to do this on both sides. Add a little bit in here. Kind of throw it in there. Now, if this is your first time to the channel, I like to call myself a texture painter. I don't really follow the normal rules of painting. And the reason why is because, well, I don't really know the rules of painting. I taught myself how to paint. Got my big old 2-incher, and I'm just gonna, let's see, should I do an upright? No, actually, let's do it upright and then change it, because, nope, we'll just do it like this. Alright, let's just paint it in. Now, these colors are really thick, and there's all kinds of them. And that's okay, because let me go ahead and get the top up here. It's okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to really paint over most of it. And the reason why we're doing the background like this, such a thick color, is, auroras are supposed to be really pretty, right? They're supposed to be all kinds of defined, just over the top, just very pretty colors. And that green seems to be taking over everything. Live and learn, right? There we go. Let's push it up and down. Now, it's about 19 degrees outside today. And that's why I got my little head thing on, because it is cold. Very cold. All right. Now that we got this background done, let's go ahead and merge it in once again. And up and down one more time. Now what I'm going to do now, remember, I have like this river idea right here, and these colors up here. I'm going to add a whole bunch more vivid colors, like this blue here, to the top. because the top's going to be where most our color is. The bottom's going to be kind of a dark area, so we're going to add some blue. And not too much. We're just going to add just enough for people to see. Well, anybody to see, really. Let's see. My favorite color is orange, so let's put some orange on there. Let's see. A little bit here, a little bit here, and a little bit here. We're just going to merge that in, and then we're going to go ahead and paint our aurora. Now, let's see. Yeah, a little bit of blue in there, a little bit of orange. Now, don't be afraid to really just get in there. It's fine, because it's all going to get covered soon. Now, let's go ahead and drag it out. And when you're doing this, be sure to just go ahead and just slap the whole paintbrush down, right? Bingo, bango, bongo. You got the thing. I'm going to take this guy, put it in the water. So I also recently learned that you're supposed to put your brushes, because it's acrylic, in water. Well, whoopsie me, I didn't know that. So now I get some brand new cheap little brushes here. Give it a little bit of wetness to it. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a unused flat canvas here. Oh, let's keep our trash put up. All right. One of these unused canvases. Oh, this one's in a little wrapping. How am I going to get this off? I know how. Let's cook it. Cook it. Boom. Plastic open. Wired up. And that is why I keep a torch. It makes life so much easier. Just drop my brush. Alright, got my brush. Now I'm using a tiny little brush. Let me find my white here. Alright, is this titanium white? Titanium white. The whitest of white. You're never supposed to just use titanium white unless you really want to. So now let's use a good chunk of titanium white. Alright. And what I'm going to do with this white is I'm going to take one little line, scoop a good amount, right? A real thick guy. And let's see, how do auroras look? I don't really know. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start at the edge here. And just, it's so cold. My paint is freezing. Now with the freezing paint, it's making this kind of difficult, but that's fine. It's a real thick boy. Now I'm coming in and do it sideways. One good stroke. Now auroras dance, so let's kind of make them go up. This is a lot better in my head. Now you want a whole bunch of color in these auroras, right? So let's go ahead and run this guy here. Now, I'm going to press really hard. Let's go ahead and paint that out. You see how the color from the backboard is just in there, right? It's going to mix. Now, since I just used this brush, I'm going to go ahead and put it right back in the water. Now, we're going to get a fresh brush, fresh and clean. Let's see, where are my brushes at? There. Let's do a flat head like this. I'm not going to wet it because it's going to get really wet on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the brush and put it right there and just drag it up. Drag it up. Drag it up. Drag it up. Just keep on doing that the whole time. Because the auroras go straight up. You don't have to go all the way up. I am, because I think it'll look cool. So up, through, up, through, up, through, up, through, up, through. And yes, it's completely overkill. With the ones closer, I'm not going to do that. Now you want to follow the edge. You don't want to go too far. Now we're going to go ahead and pull, 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 pull. All right, same thing with this guy here. Pull. We're gonna kind of flutter it in down here. This one's not gonna be nearly as thick, but it is gonna go into the other one. Oh, you see those reds pulling out? Howdy. You wanna come paint? You wanna paint? Can't say I didn't offer. So now, all you're gonna do, just pull it out. You see those blues and reds coming in? And we're just gonna see this one here. We're just gonna go straight through it. It's gonna be brighter. Now the bottom down here, we're gonna leave it as is. Go all the way through. You can hear that big old boat honking back there in the distance. All right, cool. Now we got that done. What we're gonna do, we're gonna throw some black in here. I'm gonna go ahead and take this, toss that in the water there. Pull out some black, put it on a thing. Take it easy, brother. All right, we got our black. Now, what we're gonna do with the black, I'm only gonna do the tops of these mountains. So, my idea, let's go ahead and get some of that off there. Beat the crap out of it, but don't beat too much crap out of it, because last time I beat too much crap out of it, it just kind of fell apart. Now remember, our back's kind of wet. What I'm gonna do, is cook it. Now, every time you cook it, it really helps because it dries it off, especially with it being as cold as it is. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to paint the edges of the tops of these mountains. Let's start a mountain. Let's start a guy way up here and just kind of, let's make him live right there. Now, you want to only go, I'm only using one edge of the paintbrush because it just lathers that paint on. And every time you start seeing it to blur, add more. I really like a lot of texture. And the reason why I like a lot of texture is because you can really play with it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my edges come out right here. Oh, that's a little bit much. So you see these edges, we're going to come out. That's going to be mountain line. Right? Go ahead and bring this out. I have no idea how to really do mountains, so I'm just kind of learning. Let's add another guy right here. So let's add a mountain right here. Comes over. It comes over. And you got one that comes back out towards you. Just like that. There we go. You know, let's add another guy. Another guy right here. All right, so now we got a whole bunch of mountain peaks. Let's bring this guy in. He's gonna hide behind there. Cool. So we got a whole bunch of mountain peaks. Now, see how wet this is? Let's drag it out a little bit. We don't want to take up all of our space with just mountains, right? Because I'm going to try doing trees, and I messed up last week. I used way too much for trees. But let's go ahead and do paint for the side of the mountain. Now, because the aurora is supposed to be bright in the sky, right? It's supposed to be kind of everywhere. We're going to do, let's see, I got a white here somewhere. There's a white. We're going to do white. We're going to do a whole bunch of it. Bingo, bango, bongo. Put it right there on the thingo. Now that we have a whole bunch of white, we're going to get a nice curved edge on one of these boys. Let's see, nah. Actually, the one that I just used. Let's get all this black off there. All right, get all that off there. Let's do white. So what's going to be on the side of a mountain? Snow. Now, I'm just going to tap a whole bunch of snow on this edge. Just bring it down. Down at the bottom, I'm just going to pull it out. And now, since it's tapped on there, what we're going to do, we're not going to press. We're just going to push. And just kind of let it do its thing. And in a second, I'm going to come back and tap with a mixed paint to try to make it better. And these are big mountains, so let's add some white down here at the bottom. Let's also add some over here. Over here. Now, depending on which direction you push your brush is going to decide on how the texture is going to look. And so we're going to drag that out. You want to leave a little edge of black so it kind of defines the edges of the mountain. You do too much, it won't look right. Now, we got the edge of these mountains done. At least kind of. Now let's go ahead and pull that out. Now, you can still see a little bit of the aurora through it, so we're going to add more paint. As you're dragging it out, just start mixing in a little bit of black. Pull it towards you. And now you can see there's kind of an edge going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to take the brush, I'm going to put it in the edge and just kind of pull straight down. And then pull the other direction. And then pull. That's going to make your peaks and valleys. And the black on the one side of your brush is going to actually cause the paint to be darker. And so you have the white on this side, the black on this side, the white on this side. Actually, push too hard. Keep telling you don't push. But you can see how the more you do it like that, the peaks are made. Now, like I said, black on one side. Well, since there's a peak kind of right there, we're going to run it just like this. Back over, this way. Now this edge is right here, so we're going to pull it, push it, pull, all the way down. And once we get a lot less paint, we're going to put some paint over here. So I want there to be a kind of a mountain right here. So we're going to pull, push, pull. This is the back side. There's going to be less light over here, so let's go ahead and turn our brush a little more. See how it's darker? Because we're painting with it's completely wet. Now let's go ahead and make this peak. Pull it down. All right, so little more. Now we're going to need a little bit of darkness in there, right? So you got kind of a snow. Now I want more blackness, so I'm going to pull the black in. Go ahead and mix it. Pull some white, mix it. I don't want it to be too dark, but I definitely want it to be a lot darker. Now, see how much darker that is? So what I'm going to do with this now, since I have it mixed, get a whole bunch, load it up. And you're going to take, let's see, on this side, it's going to be dark. Not too dark. You don't want it to be too dark. Go ahead and get some more paint. And since that's a mountain right there, this edge is right here, we're going to pull it. Just kind of let it do its thing. Mountains kind of go all over the place. So let's go ahead and bring that peak out. That pull. It's going to give the illusion that there's longer, like, peaks and ridges. This side, we're going to have that darkness on this side. Try to make the edges straight. And always just drag it out. Now, see how it's kind of starting to get darker and lighter and darker and lighter? All right. This is kind of the idea I was going for. It's not perfect, but it's close. A little bit of darkness. Go all the way up. All right. And this one's going to go likewise all the way up. You're going to use that black to your advantage. You're going to bring it all the way down, right? Use that darkness to your advantage, bring it all the way down. You're going to follow your curves, and the lower you go, it should get a little bit brighter. That's okay, because there's going to be more light where it's brighter. There we go. Whole bunch more light. This one's going to go corner towards you, right? Not too towards you, but go ahead and let it out. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of shade right there, too. All right, now we got 3 colors, all from white and black. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull all this paint out of this guy. Oh, got some more on me. This poor little jacket. So I'm going to get a completely clean brush. Let's see here. Sorry about the sniffles. It is cold. All right, a completely clean brush. There's nothing on this. And I'm just going to pull what we have out. Down here at the bottom. And the reason why I'm doing that is because it makes it look smoother. It's not perfect, but it's definitely better than it was. And you want to follow the curves of the mountain. You don't want to like just add your own, you know, where it's kind of like whatever. You want to actually follow it to make it look right. And then you're going to take the back of the brush and you're just going to lightly pull it up. Just lightly. Oh, let me just kick my canvas thing, my easel. And what this will do, it'll make it look kind of like mist. It's not perfect, because I am no perfectionist, but I remember seeing something like this on a Bob Ross video years ago. I'm just going to keep on doing that until all that paint is mixed nice and smooth. There we go. It's actually starting to look like something. Look at that. Sorry, guys, I get a little excited. So now I'm going to need like a fan brush, right? Because I'm going to try trees. Let me see if I have a fan brush. I know I got one somewhere. Come on, fancy me. Aha! Found it. So it's wet. I'm just going to add a little bit of green. Let's see. What's a real nice... What is this? Emerald green. We're going to use emerald green. And I'm going to try to do a light, dark, light, dark, light, dark to really emphasize color, you know, trying to get the colors mixed. Now, I'm not going to use much. We're going to mix a little bit in. Just a little bit in the black, a little bit in the green. We're going to keep it real small, so just, let's see, where would I do trees? See, it'd just be follow the bottom, right? So let's just... This doesn't look great, but it's better than my last one. So I'm just kind of using a little bitty part of what I have here. I'm going to pick up a different brush, but I want it to look uniform all the way across. Keep going, I'm almost out. Let's go up this mountain a little bit. Just greener. This guy, just a little bit. Kind of small guys. Go ahead and do this to all of them to kind of make it look like there's a tree going up. And barely touch. Further away. It's further away. So you want to run it up. There we go. Just kind of tap this in, fill this in this little area here. Let's get a little bit of that black in there, and that's fine. Let's actually touch the top of this guy with the white, so you can see on this here, It's like green on the bottom, a little bit of black in there, and then some white. What that white will do is it'll add texture to the tops of the trees, kind of make it look like there's snow or something on top. This goes up. And this goes up. And this, let's do a little bit of this right here, all the way up the edge. Up and up. Not perfect, but it works. All right. So now I'm going to take the fan brush. I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to get one of these fresh, brand new brushes. And I'm going to put some white on it. And I'm going to tap it in the bottom. This brush is very solid. I'm going to get it wet a little bit. Put it in the water. All right. Let's go ahead and take our white. All right. And so the bottoms of the tree is going to have a little bit of snow down here. Let's go ahead and make that look like this. You can come and go with it. Snow's not uniform. There we go. Kind of have that edge there. We're also going to take a little bit of the white and we're going to run it down the edges of the peaks here. So right on the peak, you're going to have just kind of a thickening of the snow. And that'll accentuate your snow lines on your peaks. Not all the way down. We're going to add a peak right here too. Come down. Because it come down, you're going to pull it out just like the other ones. There you go. Go ahead and add a little bit of snow on this peak as well. Go ahead and more right here. And so you have green for snow, then you have white for peak. Now we're going to go on the bottom here. We're going to go ahead and just brush that down in. There we go on that. Now, water's not going to be flat like this, right? It's going to kind of come in and out and do its thing. And so we're going to add something dark to kind of accentuate that there's something there. So we have the aurora up top, mountain, trees really far back. We're coming a little bit in. So we're going to do something small right here, but dark. So we're going to go dark light, dark light, dark light. So actually, let's get another brush. Let's see, what are we going to use? Let's use this guy. This is like a cone type brush. It's like a oval. Now, we're going to take black with very little green. Mix it in. I guess we're going to get some white in here too. Black, a little bit of green. Black, a little bit of green. And now watch. See how there's very little green? There's just a tiny bit of green in there. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to kind of tap in here in the snow all the way across. There's going to be just bushes, all this other stuff, rocks, all that fancy stuff that you see. Now, we have this bottom here. We're going to run a little bit of guy right here, because we need something to fill it. I'm going to go ahead and paint that out. I'm going to get another fresh brush. Actually, I'm going to take my 2-inch brush that I used earlier with all those other colors. Bring it ahead and see how wet it is. I'm going to go ahead and slap that off, get all that extra junk off. And we're going to pull just straight out. Straight out. Because this is water, right? You want it to look like water. And because the mountains are dark, where the peaks are, pull it a little further out. Just keep on pulling. Go ahead and pull a little more in. and then flutter it out. So it's giving the illusion that it's water. Cool. And you still have the aurora kind of colors up top, so it's going to come down to the bottom. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that brush we used earlier with all the grays and that real wet gray. Go ahead and get that crap out. Let me just drop the brush on the ground. I'm going to have to wash it again. My hands are so cold out here. So now, we're going to take a little bit of black. And now, let's see, what do we have? We got a row here. Let's see, we'd have like a water area right here, right? A little bay. So let's go ahead and get that painted in black here. And what do you have on bays and stuff? You have a whole bunch of trees and a whole bunch of other nonsense that lives in the wild. So let's go ahead and pull this in here. A little bit of darkness. Not too much, not too much. You don't want to cover everything up. But you can see how it's starting to look like a little basin. Chilling out right there. Not doing much. Just letting it do its thing. Alright, cool. Now what's on a base? You got leaves, and let's go ahead and make it real dark here. Let's just tap in some grasses. Just go ahead and keep on doing that. Don't use too much on this one, because we're going to come back in a minute. We're going to throw frost on it. Go ahead and throw all around it. Alright, now we're going to take a little bit of frost, just straight white. Go in layers, just. Because everything has white on it, right? You're in the snow. It's not going to be pristine white, but you're going to keep on going with rows of white. Same thing with over here. You're going to pull it up. The further away you go, the less bright it gets. Now, we're going to bring in the last thing. We're going to put a bigger tree here or over there. Let's go ahead and pull this out. And instead of doing a big tree trunk like I usually do, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to do right here. Let's just go real high here. Just start small. Bring it out. Like it's in your point of view, but it's on the outside. I'm not going to be dry. I'm just touching, just tapping. It's just wild, just like a tree. Let's add another one right next to it. This one, you can actually see the whole thing. It's a lot smaller. So, go ahead, finish that guy up. He comes all the way down. He's going to be hidden here in a minute. Let's add a little bit of guy right over here. Just goes kind of like right here. Not too big, because the last ones that I did were huge. Way too much. So let's just keep on tapping. Trees are natural, so go from top to bottom. And they get bigger as they go down. And because there's snow, right? You're going to go ahead and mix in some white. Not on all of them, just on the tips, just on the tops. Too much snow wouldn't look right. You just want to do it right there on the edges. And remember, back to front. So if you have a tree in the back, you want to cover that tree. All right, this guy here, same thing. Just pull it out. on the ground, just go ahead and pull it out. I got stuff all over there. Now, what does every single lake need? It needs a little boat, right? So we're gonna add a little boat down there. What color's a boat? Let's see. Should I add a boat? Actually, I'm not gonna add a boat. I'm gonna add little water ripples. So, remember that brush we used earlier? Remember that brush we used earlier, that fan brush? Let me see if I can find it in here. Ooh, is it this guy? Aha, found it. So let's go ahead and get that guy clean. Oh, clean enough. And we're just going to get a whole lot of white. We're going to load the ends up. And let's add the edges so it looks like a snowbag. Let's just go ahead and let's get some more in there. It's okay if you grab the tree and stuff. It's fine. So now it looks like a snowbag, but there's going to be little water ripples because this isn't perfect. So we're just going to barely touch. Barely touch the water. You want to leave that color in the bottom, just real short strokes. There we go. And we have something that's kind of like an aurora, but not quite all the way. Gonna add a little bit more in here. I'm also gonna add a little bit more at the bottom of these trees, just to kind of bring out more white. I think that came out pretty good. What do you guys think? Of course, we gotta sign it with the old up, down, cross, thumb around, the old 46. Not bad. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Painting with Harvey, and my fingers are so red, or so cold, they are red. I'm freezing to death out here, so I'll see you guys next Sunday. You guys have a good night.